Welcome back, everybody. We've got a very, very special guest on today. You guys are going to love this one. So, all you beautiful people of Hexaco, what's going on? Crypto Kings, Aaron Hex, Jay Pond, Pacific NW. We're going to let people trickle in, but just give you guys a little background. If you guys don't know Hexastani Dylan, he's involved with the Phiat team, Phiat. I've done a video with him in the past where I didn't really know anything about Phiat, and you got me to FOMO in right after that video. So, good job to you, sir. These are people out here making real DeFi and bringing it over to PulseChain, and they're part of what I like to call, the narrative of the great filter of PulseChain, only taking what's already working on ETH, that's real proven DeFi, that's not a beta test with millions of dollars on the line. And they're taking these concepts that they know work and they're bringing them over to PulseChain to help millions of people solve actual problems, replacing actual functions that currently are only done by middlemen today, such as lending, margin trading, and we're going to talk about all this really cool new stuff. So it's not just Phiat. There's going to be a couple of new products that are going to be launched in the future that we'll introduce to you today. But without further ado, I'll let Hexastani talk about both who are you, give the people a little bit of background, and tell them about Phiat in general.
Yeah. So I've been a part of the community since the very beginning and a little bit before. Right. I found Richard in 2018 from his one of his videos where he debated Roger Ver, and they had a really big argument, and it was really funny to watch. And bought some Ethereum back then, finished buying my Bitcoin bag in November of 2018, right? And then watched it get cut in half like 2 weeks later.
Yeah,
that was great.
Join the club, man. Nothing like losing your entire net worth to intro to crypto, right?
I know. It's a great thing. It happens every cycle.
I hope it happens to everyone so that they can just come back even harder, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I think it's like a rite of passage almost.
Mm-hmm.
In a way, right? Because if you never get to feel that pain, you really don't necessarily get the full experience of crypto, I guess, right?
Yeah, that's the risk. It's the game we're playing. The price you pay for the mad gains is extreme volatility. That's the price you pay for the world's highest appreciating asset class in all of mankind. And we've always beat that dead horse till the cows come home. And now this is it, guys. This is what we're talking about. This point in time right here.
100% agree. And was there for the day one when I remember there was some sort of timing thing that was going on with the go.hex.com website where it was like an hour late or something like that on launch. I still remember that.
I actually didn't. I forgot about that. I
right?
didn't even know that was a thing. So
Richard went on stream. He's like, I don't know what's going on. Guys, it should be launched.
Yes.
Like the front end just. Anyways, but yes, I remember that.
Richard is a mere mortal. He's not a god, everybody. He's simply, everyone makes mistakes. But yeah, that's cool, man. So you basically got in the lows of the last. Did you buy any of the euphoria in 2017?
No, actually, I literally went and searched up Bitcoin in 2017, like in December, right? So at the top. And I just went on one of these websites to go and watch the price action and stuff. And, I sat there and watched the chart, watched millions of dollars flow in and out of this particular exchange. And I was like, Jesus Christ, this is fucking awesome, right? So I watched it. I watched it go to 19K that night. And then I woke up in the morning and it went all the way down to like 15 or 16K. And, ever since then I was hooked. But first thing I bought was Ethereum.
Nice. Lucky you. I like to say I'm a recovering Bitcoin maxi because I was buying Bitcoin the whole way down, not Ethereum. And so when Hex came out, I actually had to do like one of my first ever ETH purchases, like of only ETH. Yeah. I did buy a bunch of shitcoins built on top of ETH back in, I bought a bunch of white papers and dreams, but none of that ever came to fruition. I bought every vaporware under the sun, but I learned that way. So yeah, you guys are, I don't know if you're officially on the Phiat team. Is that fair to say?
I'm like the liaison for the community, right? So,
community, kind of a community leader. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you know the guys, and for people that don't know, Phiat, correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, it's a fork of Aave. We know Aave is one of the few real DeFi protocols, compound Aave. It's not only Hex, guys. There's other stuff that is useful for certain people. And what it does is it's basically a lending protocol that lets you put up any other coin as collateral to extract any other coin. So it gives you a bit more flexibility than liquid loans, but unlike liquid loans, it doesn't generate a stable coin. So it's just I want to take out a Pulse loan using HEX. I want to take out a Hedron loan using PulseX, and you can do all these different variations because your collateral is always on the line in whatever token and USD value. I'm excited for fiat and I'm excited for liquid loans. These are both necessary pieces of the overall puzzle, I think. I guess I'll give you maybe potentially a hard question. If you don't know, that's okay. But the only risk to these is potentially Oracle risk that I really see happening. And do you know how that's going to be mitigated?
So I wouldn't be able to speak on behalf of Oracle risk. I'm not that technically inclined, but I can give you some other sort of risks, right? There's always some sort of contract risk associated with these, these protocols. Aave, however, has been around since 2017, so we know it's been through the ringer per se, right? It's been around for you could say 2 cycles at this point. Okay.
Yeah, and that's what I like to see. Coins that have been through a cycle or that are currently at the all-time lows right now, the 90% dips that are still surviving because they're not reliant on just the price, just like HEX, it's down 90%, but still going fine because it's doing what it does, Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, we tried to go after something that was very quality, that, has billions of dollars in TVL, like, that's what Aave has, right? In the bear market, they still have $10 billion of assets, right? So, wow. And the great thing throughout all this contagion that we've been going through, Aave has been the first thing that's been paid back for these things that went under, like 3AC, Celsius. These guys, when the debtors came knocking on the door and they were claiming bankruptcy, the first person that they were paying back was Aave, right? Huh. Because you can't smooth talk your way in court with Aave. It's in the code. If you don't pay back your loan, your ass gets liquidated, right? Mm-hmm. So, it was actually kind of funny to watch 3AC, unload some worthless NFTs, 50 grand a pop to try and fund their loan without getting liquidated. Like, it's amazing.
Wow. Yeah, that's what we need, guys. Code is law, and that's a perfect example. I love that you brought that up of how having mathematical code instead of man running the system makes things more fair because these guys knew they couldn't BS their way out of a loan. Exactly. They couldn't fake some other collateral over here and say, oh, I own like some crazy art piece and it's worth $1 million. So, let me buy my way out of it. There's no corruption because if the code says you owe it money,
you owe it money.
You owe it money.
There ain't no if, ands, or but, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so there's inherently, contract risk, but over time, people get more comfortable with these things and it gets battle tested, things are added to, safeguard and whatnot, right? And then the risk that we would have would just be, PulseChain failing or Ethereum failing, I guess, right?
Nothing is without existential risk. A meteor could hit the earth tomorrow. There's always smart contract risk. There could always be a 0-day bug on any of this. So by no means am I ever saying anything is 100% certain, but these are much more likely probabilistically to be okay. And especially after Aave's added a lot of fixes in the past 5 years, right? Those all get inherited into fiat, as I understand.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and then, the last risk would be, a particular coin just going to zero was being used as collateral, right? And that's why we have premium assets that's why you see premium assets on Aave. That's why you'll see things that are relatively premium on fiat, right? We have a little bit of risk mitigation stuff to limit the size of deposits and to try and mitigate that stuff, so we can have things like HEX on fiat and everything like that. So, but
you can't take out a loan in like SafeMoon. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
It's verifiably, the more secure assets or the less likely to self-destruct and actually implode. So that's kind of how fiat works, guys. It's a lending protocol, and You know, another thing I really liked about you guys is that you came out with at least a demo. And I know PulseChain doesn't exist yet, but you at least had something to show, like a working demo. I don't know if you want to put the link in the chat for the people. I mean, maybe I can post it to this video so that you guys can go play around with it and understand what it actually does. Because I can only explain stuff, and so can Hexastani. You guys got to actually go in here and click some buttons and see what you think for yourself.
It's a real easy link. It's testnet.fiat.io with a PH, right? It's real easy.
All right, there you go, guys. And I'll post that in the description afterwards. Yeah, so I like that you came out of the gate with, you know, something to show. I you know, because I'm allergic to promise coins. I've been, you know, the 2017 bubble was entirely based on promise coins. But yeah, Fiat's a lending protocol. Take out, you know, loan in coin A and put up coin B as collateral. And now, it's not for everybody. You know, lending is definitely not for everybody. 90% of the people watching, you know, especially smaller fish, retail, probably don't want to be getting themselves into loans. I'll never, you know, I'm very debt averse too, because just the traditional financial system, I never liked to take on debt. So I'm very averse to, you know, using this platform at all unless I'm very highly collateralized. So it seems to be whales that use this platform a lot and large entities that benefit. How do large entities and whales benefit on Fiat and Aave?
Sure. So I'll elaborate on a two-parter there. So for someone that doesn't like debt, that's, you know, just an average user of these things, you know, you would typically be like a lender at your bank, right? You're not taking on excessive leverage. You're not, you know, incurring any sort of risk in terms of speculation and things like this, right? So you would just be a lender, and in this instance, you would just deposit your funds on Fiat and allow other people to use those funds to take on risk, right? And then you have, you know, obviously the people that borrow these things, or that take on loans, and they go arbitrage pricing and, you know, make very big moves in the market, right? And take on risk, okay? Sometimes they get liquidated, right? And when they do, their collateral gets sold to pay back your funds. You know, their collateral is sold to pay back their loans. And then, you know, you have the middlemen, which are the stakers. You know, they get a share of all of the revenue that's been, or half of the revenue that's being generated from the borrowers, you know, taking on risk and things like this. And, you know, you'll see bigger players in the ecosystem use this stuff to, you know, execute flash loans, to, like I said earlier, arbitrage prices. You know, sometimes they'll go short just outright on things.
Yeah.
You know, you could see them start leveraging long. You know, they'll be taking on risk and evening out prices mostly to make, you know, the ecosystem a better place for better order executions for everybody, really.
Yeah. So you know, I guess this is just Fiat as a platform, Aave as a platform. They're just allowing people to do things in a decentralized way that they've always done in the traditional system, which is simply, you know, taking on risky positions, which are very risky. You know, essentially what it equates to a long or short position by buying a coin with the collateral of another coin. And those risks, those shorts and longs often get liquidated. So it is very risky. I mean, but you know, that said, these are trader games that traders are going to play. And a lot of times they also want to take advantage of market inefficiencies, you know, or so they say. I think that's kind of like the cop out for Wall Street. Oh, it's market inefficiencies, right? But, you know, if there is an arbitrage opportunity where, you know, this coin is worth, let's say, you know, this one stable coin is worth $1 and for some reason it's at 97 cents, you know, you can take out a loan to go buy the stable coin, and then the stable coin peg goes back up and you sell it. And that's arbitrage, right? So these are just advanced tactics that real people use. Not recommended for everybody, but, you know, whales and people with more risk tolerance and that are willing to lose it a little bit, you know, these are the types of people probably using it. But now I got a hard question, right? This is a question that, you know, everyone's going to be grilling you on in the future, but why bother with a token, dude? Like, can't you just do DeFi without a token? Why do you have a fiat token?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, you know, we could theoretically launch this and then just keep all the money to ourselves, right? But you know, that's not the. I don't think that sounds good for the community, right? And you could say that that's like CeFi as it is right now, right? So, you know, I don't think anybody that's watching the stream owns any sort of equity in things like Binance or, previously FTX, right? So, with this, this is one of the opportunities to be the middleman and, collect fees for other people doing these sorts of things, right?
Okay, so is it you buy it, you stake it, and you get trading fees?
Yeah. So, well, I mean, if you buy and stake the fiat coin, you get a portion of the revenue generated from people borrowing the assets, right? So,
Yeah, cool. I mean, that makes sense. I like when it's simple, and it does make sense, right? There is a revenue model, but it's not owned by one person. It's owned by you or I or
stakers.
whoever wants to, whoever wants to. So I like that. It sounds, decentralized enough to me. We've got a comment in chat. Sounds more risky than liquid loans. I kind of agree, but then again, you have to realize that I'm not going to be the one taking this risk, right? But some people out there want to, and this is one thing that Richard Hart had always mentioned. I want to make this point really quick, but Richard Hart back in the day, I don't know, you guys might not have been here yet, but in the early days before he realized that there was a need for PulseChain and that sidetracked everything because users were getting priced out of HEX by the crazy fees, one of the things on his agenda was we need a way to short HEX. We need leverage trading on HEX, or we need margin on HEX. Decentralized, of course. And he knew that there were decentralized protocols out there. He wanted to do this himself, actually, because when you take out short positions on HEX, I mean, it actually allows the price to pump hard as fuck. And people don't realize that. Like, people, when a short position gets liquidated, and vice versa, when a long gets liquidated, that's why you see such drastic candles in Bitcoin still, is because a lot of these liquidations are happening on Deribit, BitMEX, centralized companies, right? Because it's Bitcoin. Bitcoin's not that great. But this is happening also in a decentralized way on assets on Ethereum. And so we're just basically bringing it over to PulseChain. And can you explain about how shorting pumps the price of HEX?
Sure. So let's set up this trade here for a second. So, all right, you're a hater of HEX. You don't like HEX, and you think it's going to go to zero. Okay. So what you would do is you would take, a stable coin or, a relatively stable asset, something that is, that you wouldn't mind using, right? So you could use Bitcoin, stable coins, Ethereum, right? And then you would deposit it on something like Fiat. You would go and borrow HEX against your collateral. So you would be depositing your stable coins, borrowing HEX against those stable coins. And then you would go to, Uniswap and sell your HEX, right? You sell the HEX that you just borrowed. Okay. So now you have basically an entry price for your loan, and you're hoping that the price goes lower. So you can take the capital that you just got from selling your HEX to go buy back the same amount of HEX that you owe, right, at a cheaper price, and then you can keep the spread. Okay, so that would be a short. Now, what happens if the price goes up? Okay, well, your loan becomes worth more and more versus your collateral, and you run the risk of being liquidated. Okay, and at that point, your collateral will be used to buy up HEX at a higher price, and you are now a buyer at a price you didn't think was possible, and you push the price up.
Yeah.
Right? So, if let's say that we had this when it was 50 cents and, a large entity decided to open up a short on HEX, if the community would have seen this, perhaps the community could have, started buying up the price and pushed this guy out of his position so that they would start buying even higher. Right. So.
And yeah. And for people that can't read between the lines on that one, guys, we're going to GameStop HEX. We're going to basically be the degens on Wall Street bets. I mean, that's what it allows you to do, because it's all decentralized, like HEX, like Dylan said. Yeah. It's on chain. Okay. And it's like, if somebody takes out a big short position, there's a lot of people that like HEX, and ratio wise, I think there's the ratio of HEX lovers to HEX haters is very, very high. The loud vocal minority of haters can now put their money where their mouth is. They can say, "Oh, yeah."
I hope they do. I really, really, really think that that's a great idea for those people to put their money where their mouth is. I think that is a fantastic idea, and they should be well aware that they're more than capable of doing this.
Open invitation.
Exactly. And the cool thing is, we'll be launching Fiat on Ethereum in Q1.
No way. Okay.
Yes way. Very bullish.
Wow. That's so you're completing the Infinity Stones before PulseChain's even out. In my opinion, margin trading on HEX was always one of the Infinity Stones, and that's because Richard knew the power, how wrecked you can really get.
Yeah, and just to clarify, right, this is fiat, right? So, we do have something that we're building that's, a margin trading DEX, which that will be on PulseChain. And, that will be very easy to do these positions. Whereas, fiat will affect the spot price. And, you'll be able to do these things with lower leverage. But, it'll mostly be for, just freeing up cash flow for users that, want to do typical business activities and things like this. But yes, you will be able to bait haters into shorting HEX on Ethereum, in Q1 of next year. So
yeah. And by the way, for all you guys listening right now, this is not an endorsement of shorting anything ever. All you guys watching, shorting any position, any coin is instant death, or it's just like death in a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
You're always gonna. Yeah. Nobody should. I mean, I strongly would not do that myself. Let's just put it that way.
And I mean, if you wanted to be smart about it, okay, let's say, you thought the market was frothy. You could call a short, a small short, like an insurance position against, the market going down. And same can be said with, okay, well, I want to protect against the upside because I'm holding cash. Okay. So what you would do is you would open up a long to kind of hedge your bets so your entry price wouldn't be so bad if the market did start to run away from you, right? So the universe could be said. You can use this stuff to hedge your positions, okay?
That's true. These are all very advanced things. If this sounds like Greek to you, then it probably is not for you. But these are things that...
Yeah, you'd be better off being the middleman, right? Let all the other people that are smart enough to do these things do them.
Or dumb enough to do these things. Let them all play and give you the trading fees. Yeah. So that's the fiat token, guys. It's a decentralized way of collecting trading fees to the masses. It's not, but essentially it's imagine Deribit or BitMEX in the DeFi world. So yeah, fiat, I think the sack is well over for that one, but I want to move into, because I'm really curious. You told me about something called Phamous. These all have a PH in front of them, guys. Phamous is margin trading, but how is that different from fiat being lending?
So fiat is a fork of Aave, right? Typically, you would use Aave to just, you really wouldn't use Aave to, do heavy speculation, right? You would typically use it to, borrow large amounts of funds to, move the market in different sorts of ways. But with Phamous, that is, a straight, BitMEX on chain, right?
So that's like leverage. So it's not lending.
Yes.
Lending and leverage means multiple X's of leverage.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
So, the easiest picture to paint in your head would be, BitMEX on PulseChain, right? So that's what you can imagine here. That's exactly what it is, right?
So Phamous is BitMEX on PulseChain, then, Fiat is Aave on PulseChain. These are different things because there's. So is it correct to say that on Phamous? On Phamous, there's only going to be a couple of assets to choose from, maybe like HEX PulseChain only?
Phamous will probably have more coins that you can speculate on, right? So, maybe Zen is listed and maybe you think, Zen will continue to go down, right? You could short Zen if you wanted to, right?
Wow.
If you think Zen is going to go up, you could long Zen. It'll probably have, like on testnet right now, we have things like, which this is not publicly available yet, but, we have things like the loan token, Zen, Maximus, HEX, PulseX, Hedron.
And just to be clear, guys, these are, liquid loans and Fiat Phamous aren't competitors. They work together in the ecosystem. Yep. They do very different things, and the Rube Goldberg machines are very different in how they operate. Just also to be clear, guys, I'm not recommending anybody ever does any margin trading, leverage trading, or trading in general. But you got to realize that people out there do this, and it might not be you. I hope it's not you, but It is some people, and we need to give those people a place to play. And you're really opening up Pandora's box here, man. You're like letting everybody degen to the max, which is already the case on Ethereum. People can already do this on Ethereum today just fine.
Yeah. So I think a good way to look at this would be, you know, this will exist at some point by somebody. Okay. You know, this is for the community, right? This is, you know, built by Hex OGs, you know, that care about this community. Okay. Now it'd be better for the community to be able to, you know, stake these tokens and get a share of the fees for, you know, just speculators to speculate on this stuff. You know, it's much better to be on chain. I think the entire industry is starting to realize that, you know, all this shit on chain is exponentially more valuable than it is in these centralized exchanges, right? Because you can't fake, you know, $1 billion of assets on chain. You just can't do it, right? But you can do that, like as we saw with FTX. They did that. They faked billions of dollars that they said they weren't using to you know, lend out customers' funds, right? But they ended up doing that and losing all of their money.
That's right.
Yeah. So, you know, with these protocols, you'll be able to stake your coins and get a share of these fees. You know.
And so Phamous is the same kind of token model. Is somebody wants to know, is Phamous the SAC phase, like, and the coin function itself, is that essentially the same as Fiat?
Yeah. So there'll be another SAC for Phamous, and you know there'll be more details about that regarding eFiat on Friday's Twitter Spaces. So
one of the things I liked about the SAC phase for Fiat was that it was one of the most well thought out and probably the most fair that I've ever seen. I mean, it was a really interesting take, and you got to realize, guys, that these people behind Phamous and Fiat, they're hardcore, they're hardcore pro Hex people, and so they're realizing, you know, if someone's going to do this anyway, and if PulseChain is the great filter that we only take the working, real, true DeFi products, why not just beat them with a punch and make sure that it's as Hex and PulseChain friendly as possible? Because it's net positive, I believe, that even though, you know, traders are going to trade and you can't stop them all.
Exactly.
But why not let them have the possibility of pushing up the Hex price, you know, in their degeneracy? Somebody wants to know, I am late to the party. Hold up. Fiat launching an ETH proof of work? That's not true, right?
No. You know, launching on Ethereum, right?
2.0.
Yeah. So this will be on Ethereum.
Thanks for clearing that up. Do you have a proof of concept of Phamous that might help people decide whether or not they want to participate?
Yes, but I cannot show it to you yet. So
damn it, Dylan.
You'll have to, you have to show up to the Twitter Spaces on Friday for that. Go on Twitter and look up Phamous Crypto.
Yeah,
and,
I definitely marked that Twitter Spaces down. I set the reminder for it, guys. Phamous with a PH. Go mark your calendar. I'm curious because this is all new to me as well. Like, I'm learning just like you guys.
But yeah, I mean, I'll be able to, you know, on Friday we'll go in more in depth. You know, we'll probably be showing the actual demo and stuff, and you know, we have some really cool things, man. You know, I saw it and I was extremely impressed at what it was and what it can do. You know, it's really funny that I can open up, you know, a 20x long on Hex on testnet. I think that tickles me in a funny way. So
yeah, that touches me in all the right places too.
Exactly.
Dr. H says he's got his degen pants folded neatly in the bottom drawer under the flamethrower and vodka. That's good. That's good, because in order to get to your pants, you need to first drink the vodka and then, you know, handle the flamethrower. So there, you know.
Yeah, and I mean, look, listen. You know, Richard's been begging for people to build this stuff for years now.
Yep.
I could literally pull up a video of him like going like this and begging, please, DeFi guys, please build leverage trading for Hex, please. And I think this was even before PulseChain was a thought, right? Like, dude, this guy's been talking about this for a while, and you know, here it is. It's coming.
Here it is.
You have your chance. you have your chance of being a part of this. So
same token model. Is there anything different or what?
basically, yeah. No inflation. You stake the coin to get a share of the revenue. I think it's 40% of the fees go to the stakers. So
Where do the other 60% go?
The other 60% goes to the liquidity providers of the leverage trading platform.
Gotcha. That's important because you do have to reward the liquidity providers, right? Like if you're, it's just like Uniswap DEX, right? You're taking out a loan. Who's providing that loan? Not one person, but whoever wants to take the massive risk that this person might not be able to pay their loan back. They might have to buy it back at a higher price, and then you'll end up getting less of your coin. But you should be offset with that risk by the platform fees, which are Phamous and Phiat token. Is that true?
Yes. So I mean, like in regards to things like Phamous, I'll give a little bit of a clear view, I guess. But yeah, I mean, this is a derivative product. Phamous is a derivative product. Okay, so you'll be trading in these pools that watch this price. Okay, whereas Fiat you'll be trading on PulseX, right? And you'll be affecting the PulseX price. Whereas with Phamous, you'll be trading the price, right? So you'll be trading the mark price instead of the actual spot market. Make sense?
Well, so does that mean that the price oracle for these things is PulseX?
I am not entirely sure if obviously we'll be pulling off of PulseX, right? Yes.
Yeah.
But as far as like having an oracle and things like this, I'm pretty sure the devs are going to have they're going to spin up their own oracle to begin with, and then once other projects start to come along, then they'll integrate with those. But
it seems like that would be a wise idea. I believe that's what Jesse told me about Liquid Loans, is that they were not only building their own, but also considering using PulseX as perhaps a backup. I don't know if you guys have ever traded on BitMEX. I was a DGen once. What they do for their oracles are basically their price feed. How do you get an accurate price, right? What if there's a crazy price wick on one exchange, but not on every other exchange? Well, they would add like Bitstamp and a couple other prices together and just take the average price between those. And so you can probably do that with oracles too. You can have one or two or maybe three oracles, take the average price so that there's no scam wicks that liquidate everybody, which is very possible.
Yep. And yeah, they call that the mark price on these derivative exchanges. So you'll see the mark price, and then you'll see where the price is on the derivative exchange, and then you get a funding rate between the spread of the the price on BitMEX and then the mark price across the entire market, right? So if for instance, if the price is above the mark price, then the longs pay the shorts more money every funding rate, right? And if the spot price, or if the price on BitMEX is lower than the mark price, then the shorts pay the longs, I believe. Yes. So it's the opposite.
Yeah. That's a blast from the past right there. Hey, Milan, what's going on? Milan Tank. Just want to say hi also to Dr. H, the crypto tractor. He's in my group and great guy. And also Hexkin, also in my group. Thank you for stopping by. Good morning from the States. Hope everything is well in Oz. And one person wants to know what was Aave called before they switched to Aave?
I believe it was called Lend.
Yeah. Lend is a little generic. I guess they switched to Aave for a reason. Also, people don't realize that this is another coin that did a 10,000x if you count the price when it was still Lend. But it's also been around for 5 years instead of 3. So just a thought, just nothing. Not saying history is going to repeat itself, but history often rhymes. And so you've got another third project, right? So we've got some time left. This is something that I've been telling people to do because I don't have the skills to do it myself, but it's got to be done. And it's basically a unified front end because we've got all these apps now. We've got Hedron, we've got Maximus, we've got all the perpetuals. There's too many damn websites. You got to click on all of them. You got to save them all. If you want to participate in the PulseChain ecosystem, you got to go to go.hex.com for one thing. You got to go to liquidloans.io for another thing. So I've been saying this for a while now. Why not just put them all in one website? And you've done just that. And it's really exciting. And it's called Phatty. And your logo is like a little pig. So great choice in logo, I guess, sir. This is what it looks like. This is a great proof of concept. Can you walk us through it?
Yeah. So, Phatty is, there's no coin attached to this. There's no, there's no sacrifice. There's nothing like that. This is for the community, for everybody to use, for, everyone to have the most important things that they need right there, all in one place. So you can track all of your assets across all of these different platforms, right? I've been using this on testnet. It's not completely ready for public right now, but I have been using this on testnet to watch people and watch their wallets and see what's going on. It basically is the bow tie that nicely ties everything together. That's the best way I can describe it, right? You'll be able to track what you're doing on fiat. You'll be able to track what you're doing on liquid loans. Once we add that, see your vaults. You can see your hex stakes. I'll show you one of these wallets here. So for instance,
also real quick to interject, I love the ethos in this community of taking what works and copy paste and add features, right? People think that's easy to do. It's actually not, because you got to find the thing that works. You got to figure out what worked about it, and then you got to add the stuff that you wanted. There's a lot more than just copy paste. Okay, and obviously you have to test the hell out of it. If you guys ever played around with Decred is an app that lets you manage everything in DeFi. It's kind of like MetaMask on steroids, and this is essentially that. This is a copy of Decred, which is MetaMask on steroids.
Yeah, so this is just a read-only, desktop app, right? This is not going to hold any funds. We're not going to ask for your permission to do anything. This is just so you can paste your address and look at your assets, right? So you can see all of your stakes, when they end, how much interest they've accrued to date, their values, T-shares, even your rank amongst everybody else, right? You'll be able to see things on Hedron, like, this particular wallet has 4 tokenized stakes on Ethereum, and then 4 tokenized stakes on PulseChain. And you'll be able to differentiate between, different chains.
Yeah, that's great.
So I think we have support for Binance, Ethereum, and PulseChain for right now. But if the user base wants more chains, obviously we'll add them. But this thing in particular takes a little bit of time. We're doing this with some third-party developers, so it's not getting in the way of things like Phamous or Phiat and stuff. But it's just something we're doing as a passion project, right? We're not, this is out of pocket for us. And, it's just something we think the community really needs, and it's going to be a wonderful thing, I think. But
it's going to be great. And, I almost foresee, like, as an emergent property, this helps unify different communities, right? If it also gets you the Binance Smart Chain guys and the Ethereum guys, you can use everything in one place. I mean, this is going to open up doors that we never thought possible. I mean, it's going to bring down the gates, is what I'm trying to say. It allows people to use all the stuff that they like and not have to feel like, oh, it's only Hex, or, it's Hex or die. And I do want to backtrack on what I said. This is like MetaMask, but it doesn't hold your private keys. It's just a visualization tool. It's safe to interact with, and it just strictly allows you to see where everything is at, and then launch functions, maybe on these platforms, but you'll then have to approve the functions on MetaMask like usual.
Yeah. And, it'll go to, you'll have different links and stuff here. Like if I click on this stuff, it'll take you right to Phiat, so you can deposit this and just, passively earn, yield on people borrowing your assets and stuff. But yeah, I mean, you'll be able to, another cool thing that we're adding is, let's say you have a bunch of wallets, okay? And you want to track all of them in one place. Well, you can click this bundle thing right here and start adding all of your wallets together. And then you can have a nice dashboard that shows all of your wallets and what all of your assets are doing across those wallets, and it just aggregates them all into one. So
Beautiful. I use a Staker for that today, but I really strongly feel like I'm going to be using this a lot.
Yeah.
And it's amazing, dude. Okay. Can you make any statements as like you're not collecting any customer data or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, I highly doubt that we'll be collecting any customer data. I mean, this is not
That's not the point.
No, yeah, exactly. No.
Yeah, that might be some people's fear just in the future to try to get ahead of that concern that people might have and just, address it. We're not actually.
Mean, there's not really any sort of way for you to sign into this thing. So, I don't know how we would be able to do that anyways.
That's a good point. Because on Decred, they give you the ability to like de-anonymize yourself and give your wallet a name and stuff. And it's like,
oh, okay,
that's not really a great feature. This is a much better version. Like I said earlier, this is all the best parts of, Decred, but none of the stupid stuff.
Yeah.
I got to ask you though, why Phatty? Why the pig?
Hey, listen, Buck likes to name things. So, that's what that's what he came up with. And,
good old Mr. Phiat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great job with the logo, guys. He's got a little hexagon shaped earring too. So
yeah, listen, this is your bank, right?
That's a pig I can trust, sir.
Yeah, it's your piggy bank.
Oh, okay, piggy bank.
Yeah.
I get it. This is awesome, dude. Can you click on the hex or anything else, or is it just a simple POC? Like on the left hand?
Yeah, so if I click on this, it'll take me to the hex.com website. If I click on that, it'll take me to the Hedron website. I don't know what it's going to do if I click this stuff. So,
okay.
I got
you.
I'm not going to click it right now, but yes. It should, I'll open up into another tab.
No problem, dude. You don't have to do it right now.
Yeah, but, essentially you get the idea. You'll have all of the links to the relevant things in the community. So it'll be all in one spot. We're going to try and support as many things as we can that are as relevant as possible. But once this is done, obviously it's not done yet. There's still a little bit of bugs, but you should understand the idea in the direction we're headed with this stuff, right? That's the point.
Yes.
Of me showing you guys this stuff.
Yeah, it's awesome. I gotta say, I wish I had this address, dude. 0x24.
Yeah, this is my testnet address. Yeah, I in the beginning of testnet, there was still all the liquidity pools on Uniswap, right?
Yeah, don't click that hex button, dude.
Yeah, I don't know what it goes to. So. But yeah, as I was saying, all of the pools on Uniswap were still the same as they were, on Ethereum, right? So, and since Pulse is Ethereum, I was able to get on Uniswap and sell, 1,000 ETH or 1,000 Pulse for $2.5 million, right? So I did that a bunch, and I was able to get a shitload of stable coins, which I have currently lent out on Phiat right here. So 60 million, and then I used about 40 million to provide liquidity on Phamous. So, but yeah, wow. You should have seen the hex price on testnet like in April. I made it $90. Yeah, I have screenshots of that. So
that's insane, dude. You're a very rich man on the testnet, sir.
Yes, please, someone just send a bridge with real Ethereum, just please.
Yeah, I hope you get your 1-for-1 copy at testnet.
So. Right. Yeah.
We got a question that's kind of legit. I'm curious about this too. How does it work liquidity providing on Phamous or Phiat? Is it just like do you get the same NFT coin proving liquidity?
You have to wait till Friday to find out.
Ah, shit, that guy. All right.
Join the Twitter Spaces, guys. Set a reminder. Just be there or be square, guys. All your questions will be answered. So.
Yeah, you guys want to stay up to date on this stuff because even if you don't use it, which let's be honest, you probably shouldn't be margin trading. 99% of you, but Eric Wall, if you want to margin trade, feel free. stuff like that. This is all going to be net positive, and it's real DeFi, and I wouldn't be talking about it if it wasn't. So I like teams that are building tangential to Hex, PulseChain, PulseX, and that you're also being nice and you plug and play with Power City. It looks like Hedron, and this is stuff that you don't have to even use, but there are a lot of people out there that use the whole ecosystem. So thank you for doing this as a labor of love. Thanks for not putting a token on this one. This is really, really just nice of you guys to be doing.
Yep. And, we think it's a necessity. We think that we feel that we would do it in such a way that everyone would enjoy. So, we're taking the initiative, and, here it is. This is what we have so far, and it'll grow into this gigantic beast because all of this stuff has to be added, proprietary. So, it's a little difficult, but when it's done, it'll look nice and everything. So
yeah. We got a request. You might want to put the whole Pulse Dogecoin on there. The whole trifecta: Pulse Bitcoin, Pulse Dogecoin, ASIC coin.
Yeah, as of right now, it's not on testnet. But by all means, it'll eventually be there, right? But this is incomplete. So
cool.
But yes, we'll have things that are relevant to the community that'll be on here, and you'll be able to see. We'll have things like if you have stakes for different with different things, like on Hedron, or I don't particularly know exactly how the ASIC mining for Pulse Doge works, but we'll have all.
Yeah, I think it's real DeFi from what I hear. It seems to be solid code, but that's just through the grapevine, right? I'm not too much of a professional there. I noticed you also had NFTs on the top. That's pretty cool. You can now view NFTs on this page. One question or one suggestion as well, other than like the Pulse Dogecoin stuff. If whoever's building this is listening, I would say that Decred had a security feature that I really liked, where you're able to revoke permissions on Uniswap or any other dApp that you might have given accidentally. If that feature could be added here, I think it could potentially save a lot of people if they accidentally interacted with a smart contract that was sketchy and they want to revoke their permissions for that contract.
Yeah, and I think that's a great feature, and I'll let the devs know, or I'll let Buck know so he can But
I'm sure you guys got a huge laundry list, of stuff to do. So whatever, whenever you can. Yeah, guys, we have about 10 minutes left. If you guys want to grill Hexastani Dylan anymore, we have him here for a little bit longer.
Yeah, and I just want to go out of the gate and say, listen, guys, if you have a large hex position and you want to divest without having your, selling affect the price, consider sacrificing for some things, right? So, keep that in mind, that's a viable way to diversify out of your current position if it's too large, right? I know there's some people that are trying to get out of a very massive position in hex right now, and some people probably won't sell that stuff, if you send it to the right ones. So
yes, so there was, in other words, there's been a controversy about sacrifice phases accepting hex because in the past certain sacrifice phases have dumped their hex to fund a product that doesn't even exist yet. And all we're trying to say is that Phamous and Phiat, they're just not like the other guys. That's all.
You'll notice that the sacrifice wallet for Phiat, they actually bought more hex. So and they were staking. So
I did not notice that, but it's a very nice objective fact to know, and people can do with that information whatever they want.
Yep, exactly. Interpret that how you must.
Yep. Any plans to support HSIs as collateral?
I don't know. I would imagine that we would maybe at some point in the future. That's a little bit more complex because
it's not an ERC20, right? Yeah.
Well, not just that, but you can't find an immediate buyer necessarily. I mean, I guess you could through ICOSA, right? So if you had an HSI and it went up for liquidation, I guess you could go through the ICOSA contract and sell it to that, and then, but it's a little bit more complex. So
that's a good point. Technically now there's always a buyer. Before, you weren't able to sell those to anybody on OpenSea or hexmarket.com. This whole ecosystem is going to be really, what's the word I'm looking for? Anti-fragile, because we're building the layers right now. We're building all the puzzle pieces that are needed for a complete parallel financial ecosystem. And when you guys realize how big this is, you can't turn off this code. I think you'll be just as excited as I am about all this.
Yeah, I totally agree, man.
Plus, did you hear about the Fiat on-ramp guys at the 0x Coast? They got a banking partner for their they just secured a banking partner for, it's on Twitter, so I'm able to talk
Really?
about it. Yeah. For
Yeah,
their
what
Fiat
happened?
on and off ramp for PulseChain
Really? Is this overseas or is this in America?
in America.
Really? Oh,
Yes, it's big news. It's big news. It's just global domination, boys and
yeah.
girls. Global domination.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. It's really cool to see because they're following a model that TUSD is doing, True USD,
Okay.
which is one of the actual kind of safest regulatory wise when it comes to a model for a non-algo stablecoin. It essentially makes an umbrella company and then gives every user their own mini bank account, and the user can only mint stablecoins if they put in real dollars into that bank account, and they can only get their money back if they then burn their stablecoins back for their dollars. So it's like making sure that everyone is securing their own stablecoin inside of a real official FDI insured bank. That's how I understand it.
Mm.
I might be butchering that though, so don't take my word for it. Just follow the guys at 0x Coast, and some more good news some more hopium for you guys. So I know times are tough right now. You guys might need a little hopium, a little IV drip. That's what we're here for. So yeah, guys. I mean, anybody else got questions or anything? Here, I'll pull up the actual tweet if you guys don't believe me.
That sounds like a pretty cool idea. In regards to, you deposit your funds, you mint your stable coins. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. Here it is. Let me share my screen with you guys. You beautiful people of Hexaco. Let's go ahead and do this. Yeah, look at the screen. Important update. We have secured a banking partner for Fiat on-ramp. Final screens are being designed and will be in a public beta within a few weeks. I think I'm going to join that beta if they let me. The MVP will allow users to buy USDC on Ethereum. And what the actual end product will apparently do is they're going to have an iframe with PulseX built right on the website, so they can instantly transfer their stablecoin into anything on PulseX, basically, right from the same page and everything. So, will Blippi Coin be on it? You'll have to lobby in Congress for that one. Blippi Coin is a very controversial token. Okay, Blippi Coin, people either love it or they hate it, and word on the street is there's a certain doctor behind the whole thing pulling all the strings. So I don't know about Blippi Coin, guys. I'm a little sus about that. What's your hex price bottom prediction, if you dare? You got anything?
I don't know. I just watched 20 minutes before this stream. Somebody moved some liquidity or some hex LP. I think down to the spot price. So there's some people that are trying to get out of their positions, and if they just continue to sell and people are aware that they're selling, who knows how low we'll go, right? At some point, buyers will step in, but they know there's blood in the water. So, I'm not buying. I know bigger guys, they're not buying, right?
There's an anomalous whale that has about 250 million hex. He's been dumping. He seems to have stopped dumping for now. In the past, he had a similar situation where he ended his stake. He sold about 50 million hex and he stopped dumping. And then he just did that again. He made another stake. That stake expired. He's been dumping. He's got $6 million liquid, $7 million in hex. We'll see what he does with it. He seems to have stopped for now. But I don't like to, I fuck these guys too hard. So let's just let everything happen as it does. And maybe we'll have some faith that Mr. Whale will be happy with his, what he's got already. Cause I sure would be, you know?
And, if he wants an out, there's going to be an out soon. So
it's a free market, free country, all that. Yeah, I don't mind the sells. Yeah, people got their limit orders set, so they're
Yep.
getting great prices, and yeah, that's all we can do. And yeah, some people just want him to dump it all. If he dumped it all, I think Hex would crash to a penny and then get bought back up over the next couple days.
Yeah, I think it would be nice for them to do that, but they're probably not going to do that.
Yeah,
So
probably a little smarter, a little smarter. Zach
yeah.
Davis, I'm racking up Hex with all these new lows. Congrats to you, sir. Zach's got that long-term vision. I know Zach pretty well. He's a believer. He's one of us. Congrats, dude. Nate Stake says he dumps and we get a great opportunity. Yeah, one man's trash is another man's treasure. And like I said, guys, when you're a whale that big, he might just be divesting to maybe pay his tax bill or something. Nobody knows really what's going on. Things are different when you're talking about millions of dollars versus just a couple tens of thousands. Redistribution of wealth. Yeah, that's right, man. That's right, Nate Stakes.
Yeah, and a great little way to see this is if you go to YouTube and you look up the Bitcoin bear whale, right? And you look at there's this big, very large whale at on Bitcoin at $300. He set a limit order for I think it was around 100K to 35K Bitcoin, and he posted just a limit order, a limit sell for $300, and it took the community like 4 days to eat through that sell wall. But after they ate through the sell wall, the price never went back. But we're probably in that situation right now with
Yeah, this 2 to 3 cent zone. It seems very reminiscent of that, and it might seem like, oh, how could it possibly ever go back up again? Well, once the whales have had enough to eat, you'd be surprised. And the liquidity providers, the liquidity locusts, they shift things around, and then it's game on again, basically.
Yeah, and I did a thread on Twitter the other day. But once you get out of the V3 range, dude, there's like the price can go very high very fast. I don't expect that to happen, but it's very possible. And also to the downside, right? We're out of the band where the liquidity is thick, so price can go down very fast.
Yeah, one thing people were saying was that when they saw the liquidity band shift to 3 cents, people were pretending it was a good thing. That it was like, and I'm like, no, that means that there's no liquidity from 3 cents to 1 cent. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I mean, I don't just know. Yeah, you guys, the more you know, the better you can sleep at night about all this stuff. So
yeah. So you can think about it like right now is a terrible deal for sellers, and it's a great deal for buyers. Now, if we get out of the liquidity band on the upside, it's a terrible deal for buyers and a great deal for sellers. So that's a good way to think about this stuff. So.
Yeah. Or like another way to say that is who's in control right now, the bulls or the bears, and these are just different groups of people with opposing mindsets.
True.
Either you're a bull or you're a bear, and
bulls are in control right now. Yep.
And when the bulls are done selling, when the last seller has sold, it's not when that has nothing to do with the buyers right now. It's when the last seller has sold, then we can go back up. Just like bear markets end when the last buyer has bought. So, I mean, sorry, bull markets end when the last buyer has bought. Terminology. We're in the anger depression stage. I think so, sir. Probably. I think so.
Probably.
How are you handling it?
Dylan? I'm doing fine. Yeah. I'll do all right.
Well, let's close on this one. So, if you had any word of advice to people, this is their first rodeo, this is their first time losing it all. Maybe they lost everything on FTX. Maybe they're just down 80% and they feel bad. Any parting words of wisdom or anything like that?
Yeah. So there was this junkyard owner that I knew. He was relatively successful in the junkyard business. Okay. And one of the things he said to me was, when you stop buying, you start dying. And I think that rings true with everything. If you give up, you're never going to make it. Right. So, but if you keep at it and you keep going, eventually you'll get there. So keep that in mind. Not necessarily buy literally, but figuratively speaking, if you stop buying, you start dying.
If you stop buying into the dream, if you stop buying into the narrative, if you stop buying into yourself, if you don't believe in anything, if you don't believe in something, you'll die for anything. Is that the saying? Something like that. So
Yeah.
it's good stuff, guys. Good stuff. Thanks for coming on, Dylan. Really appreciate you, man. And thanks for everything you've been doing.
Yeah, thanks for having me, dude.
Okay, guys. Tune into Phamous's live stream to get some more of that sweet, sweet, yummy alpha. And have a good one. Like, subscribe. Bye-bye.